guys, good afternoon. This is Sir Robert Amba, and I will be one of your instructors in ICOMP, Introduction to Computer Programming. Greetings, BSIT and ACT freshman students. Welcome to our course Introduction to Computer Programming. In this module, we will be discussing an introduction to C programming. We hope that you will give attention and appreciate the importance of this course background before learning the first step of your technical skills as a future programmer. It is always good to remember, your future starts here. Be successful anywhere. Our course module, Motivation. It is now time to start your chosen journey as a programmer of the future. Maybe your classmate, yourself, or both of you will create great ideas in the field of computer technology for humanity and for the glory of our Almighty. Remember, it always starts with the power of basics. Let's start by learning the introduction and knowing the initial vocabulary part of the C programming. Yes, so to start up with this module 1, part 1 of ICOMP, let's start with considering the module 1 course objectives. At the end of this module, the student shall be able to define what is programming, define what is C programming language, its compiler and its basic features, discuss and appreciate the overview and evolution of C programming, understand the C program structure, know the needed tools and how to install these tools to program in C, familiarize and define the following vocabulary in C programming, or what we call the tokens. Familiarize and make use of the syntax in C programming. Define and make use of the logic formulation using the algorithm and flowcharting techniques to visualize the step encoding the C program. Make the first program using the mathematical operators, and finally make use the input and output functions of the C program. So let us define C programming and appreciate its background. So C programming is a general purpose computer structured programming language. It was developed by Dennis Ritchie way back 1972 at Bell Laboratories. The main purpose of this C programming language was to develop the Unix operating system. Together with Brian Kernighan, Dennis Ritchie produced the first publicly available description of C, known as KNR Standard, way back 1978. So that's the genius behind this C programming language, Dennis Ritchie. Evolution and facts of C. C has evolved from 3 structured programming languages, namely ALGO of International Group way back 1960, Martin Richard way back 1967, BCPL, and Ken Thompson way back 1970. ALGO stands for Algorithm Language, BCPL stands for Basic Command Programming Language, and B. In 1973, before its ancestors, ALCO, BCPL, and B, Dennis Ritchie called it as the traditional C, way back, 1973 again. And ANSI committee created the ANSI-C, way back 1989, and 1990 ANSI ISO-C by the ISO committee. So again, the three ancestors of C programming language were ALGO, BCPL, and B. The idea behind the C language was to create a language that the computer machine language will understand. So it's kind of what we call a translator to the digital computer on and off. And C was the main key to the success of the Unix OS. OS means operating system, like what you are using with your laptops and desktop operating systems. Windows, another version of OS or another product of OS, like Unix. So why do we need to study C, especially for IT students and computer science and other allied programs? These are the following features of C: simple and efficient, speed, its modularity, portability, existence of libraries, popular, dynamism, and case sensitives. Let us define one by one of these features. Portability. It refers to the usability of the same fragment of code in different environments. C programs are capable of being written on one platform and being run on another with or without any modifications. So with the use of another platform, you can still use the original version of codes from the C. So that's portability. Modularity or structured language. When I say structured language and modularity, these features of C allows the program to be splintered or broken into smaller units and run individually with the help of functions. In other words, modular programming refers to software design techniques which increases the number of fragments on the same codes. So you have a main functions and broken down into sub-functions to make it easily be understood with the coder. That is structured language or modularity. Features number 3, simple and efficient. The syntax style of C programming is easy to comprehend and can be used to design applications that were previously designed by assembly language. In high schools or colleges, C is generally thought as an introductory program language, as it is a well-established fact that it is easier to learn in any other programming language in the long run. If you are well acquainted with C, so the simplicity refers to the easy to comprehend, the syntaxes or the rules in C coding. Speed. Since it is a compiler-based language, it is comparatively faster than other programming languages like Java or Python, which are interpreter-based. So a compiler considers the entire program as input and thereby generates an output file with an object code, whereas an interpreter takes an instruction, by instruction as input and generates it as an output but does not generate a file. So in an interpreter type, so if you have a sequence of instructions, it will be delivered one by one, processing one at a time. Unlike in C language, speed is considered because it is a whole file that will be delivered once and processed once and gives you a result once at all. Okay. Popularity. It is one of the most extensively used languages in the development of operating and embedded systems. Needless to mention how popular it is. So that is, of course, lots of applications and other softwares and micro systems were actually developed by this C language that makes it so popular. Existence of the libraries. C language comprises of its library, which has a wide range of built-in functions. Even the other user-defined functions can be added to the C library, meaning you could actually make your own library and functions, and can be included in the standard library of the C language. Then you could actually use them later on. Dynamism. So it supports the feature of dynamic memory allocations, which solves the utilization and management of the memory. Among all of the features of C, dynamism is unique. Using DMA, the size of the data structure can be changed during runtime using some predefined functions in the C library, such as malloc, calloc, free and reload functions. So this is about the memory allocation management. Case sensitive. So case sensitive refers to treating the lowercase and uppercase characters differently. So for instance, if you have an x or a small x or a small y variables, it will connote a different meaning altogether if we type a capital X rather than a small caps of X. So it's case sensitive, so you could actually distinguish between uppercase and lowercase, and it always must be followed. It's a rule of thumb. When you name a variable, when you use all caps, it's different with the combinations of small caps and upper capital letters. So it's case sensitive. So let us give a couple of minutes to appreciate the genius mind behind the C programming language. It is worth remembering the legacy behind those wonderful poems and other technologies. So let's see why C is so awesome.
There's an old Wayne Gretzky quote that I love. I skate to where the puck is going to be, not where it has been. And we've always tried to do that at Apple. This amazing little device holds 1,000 songs, and it goes right in my pocket.
This is the part where we blow up! Not today! To infinity and beyond!
Toy Story opened nationwide.
A phone. Are you getting it? These are not 3 separate devices. This is one device. Calling it iPhone.
So in essence, the basic building blocks which are combined to write the programs are tokens. So it's a combination of these small vocabulary words to come up with a whole program. So the vocabulary words are the tokens. And the small space in a C program is a token, like X is a token, Y is a token, 2 is a token. Even the terminator semicolon, it's still a token. Open curly brace and close curly braces are tokens. So in essence, we have actually 5 types of vocabulary words or tokens in C. We have the character sets, constants, keywords, operators, and variables. Let's start off with the character sets. So character sets has a set of characters which includes alphabets, numbers, and special symbols, like this shown in this slide, which includes the capital letters, all caps A to Z of alphabets, the small caps A to Z. So we have character sets also using digits 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and special characters like exclamation points, asterisks, and so on and so forth. So these are character sets. You could actually check this out in the ASCII code. Constants. So constants are tokens, no? which have fixed values in a program. So every constant value remains the same during the entire execution of the program. So constants is divided into 2 major categories. We have numeric and character constants. Under the numeric constants, we have whole numbers like 1, 2, even negative numbers 1, 2, 3, 0. These are integer constants. Likewise, with the real constants, we have decimal or fractions like 0.95, 0.0083, 1.3, or negative 1.321, etc., etc. Likewise, with this character sets, is still a constant, though its name is character, but its value remains the same. It's still a constant, though it seems to be feeling like it's a character. So we have single character constants and string constants. So single character constants are represented by single quotation marks, like for example in this case, open and close single quotes, number 5, open and close single quotes X and A. So if you would like to represent a character constant, so that is actually represented by single quotes. For string constants, you need to use what we call the double quotes. So what are strings? Strings are actually combinations of single characters. Like for example, hello. We have HELLO combinations of characters to come up with the strings. Likewise with numeric string constants. Don't be confused with this one, because it seems like you have a numerical value and why is it under the string constants. As long as they are actually inside the single quotes or the double quotes, no matter if it's a numerical value or an alphabet, they are still considered as constants. Okay? Constants act under the character constants rather. Next vocabulary words of the C codes or C program are the keywords. As the name implies, these are the keywords that are actually reserved words for the compiler or the C program environment. Okay? And they are actually predefined. Like when I say predefined, you would like to use the printf, that is to print something on the screen, it is predefined in a sense that it will actually print something on the screen. It's printf. Okay? So again, these are reserved words used in programming language that have the special meaning. Again, like printf to print something, okay? Scanf to capture the alphanumeric keys from the keyboard or from the user. So keywords are reserved words, and also they cannot be used as identifiers or identifier of a variable. You cannot use them to contain a certain value. Like for example, x is equal to 2. You cannot use a special function printf is equal to 7 or 2. That would be misinterpreted by the program because printf is a reserved word. And here are the table for the C keywords. Actually, we have 32 of them. So for example, we have here const, int, short, struct, and so on and so forth. Okay. So these are reserved words. We will be more familiarized with these reserved words, and we can actually avoid using this as an identifier or as a holder of a value, which is the variable, as we go on typing our codes, knowing the syntaxes and some special functions. Variables and data types. As I mentioned a while ago, variables are the given name to a memory location of a computer in which the data is stored. And for variables, you could actually tell the data type of the variable. Like for example, when I say variable x, what is its data type? Say int. It's an integer. It's a whole number. So int data type, the value is, for example, 5. So when you declare a variable, usually you give the type of this variable. Is it a constant or another type of data type? Is float, double, and so on and so forth. So there are rules in declaring the variables in C. So variables can contain letters, digits, and underscore. The first character should be a letter or underscore, but mostly not recommended using the first character as underscore. It should start with a letter or an alphabet, like all caps or a capital letter or small letter. No commas or blank are allowed within the variable names. Case matters. Capital X is different from small letter x. Again, C keywords cannot be used as variables. Examples. Capital TAX is accepted because we have a combination of small caps and capital letters and starts with capital letter. You can use an underscore in between these alphabets. It's still accepted, like tax underscore BIR. Likewise with Bob 825 and underscore RMB 777 still accepted. What about beginning with underscore? It is accepted but rarely not used. It is not recommended. And in this case, this one is illegal or not accepted at all because it has an illegal character pound sign or number sign, account number sign, number. So another key word, or rather tokens in C programming, is what we call the operator. So an operator is a symbol that tells the compiler to perform a certain mathematical or logical manipulations or computations, or decision rather. So mathematical computations and logical for decisioning. Separators can be classified into the following types. We have this arithmetic operators, relational operators, and logical operators. Bitwise operators, assignment, conditional, special operators respectively. So in this first module, we will be defining what are the arithmetic operators. The rest of these operators will be discussed in the upcoming module 2. Okay, so what is an arithmetic operators? We have here arithmetic operations includes addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Excuse me for this one. This will be written as divisions. Or we have 4 arithmetic fundamentals of mathematics, which are add, subtract, multiply, and divide. So they are performed on numerical data types like integer, float, and double. So int, float, and double are actually data types. So when you say int, it should be whole numbers, while float and doubles are actually with fractional values. And float and double differs on the precision of the number of decimal numbers, or precision in terms of how wide is the range of values of the data type. We have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of arithmetic operators. The first 4 are the basic arithmetic fundamentals. First one, plus adds 2 operands, minus subtract the second operands from the first. And in C programming we use asterisk sign as the multiplication symbol. It multiplies 2 operand, and forward slash in C programming is used as division symbol. The percent sign would be used as the modulus, or this would actually compute for the remainder of the division forward slash. Plus plus and minus minus are actually counting up and counting by negative values or decreasing values. When you say plus plus, you increment an integer value by 1, while the minus minus is you decrease with an integer value by 1. So if it starts with 5, the next value of the variable or constant rather is, or the variable is 6. If it's 4 and you will use a minus minus, it would be -3, so it decreases by 1. So we will be tackling more on other operators or tokens on the module 2. So before we will study we will take a tour of the what the structure looks like of a whole C program is, let's consider first what are the needed things before you could actually code in C. So a little bit idea about IDE, or the integrated environment of the C, or integrated development environment. So what is an IDE? So it is an application or software with which programmers use for programming. So there are actually main 3 parts of the IDE. The one where you type the source code, which is the editor, where you code your program, so where you write your codes. and after when you write your codes, you must translate it in order for the machine to be understood in its level of language, which is the machine language. You will be using the automation tool compiler. And of course, nobody's perfect. Of course, there might be some errors in your programs. You could actually use, or in IDE, there is what we call the debugger. So it will tell you or gives you an idea where part of the code programs has an error. Usually it gives some hints on the definition of the error. It will highlight an error. So the process would be, you type the code in the editor or on the editor, then you compile it, you need to translate it using the compiler. Then if there is an error, automatically there is a debugger. It will actually warn you. It gives warning. The third part, which is the debugger. So let us familiarize what IDE looks like. So this is actually Turbo or C++ or Turbo C IDE environment. So in the blue screen we have cursor, which indicates where you will actually start typing your code. So after typing the code in the blue screen, you could actually compile it to translate it into a level that the machine could actually understand it. Then if it's error free, you could actually hit run to complete the program. Or likewise, after running, if there's an error or there are errors, it will actually give you warning, and it will be seen below this screen. So we will be taking a tour and defining all these things here below of this screen and in the upper part of the screen, like file, edit, search, and Windows. So we will be familiarizing ourselves as we go on coding the C programs in the succeeding modules. We are not just limited to the Turbo C IDE. You could actually download some good examples of integrated development environment to code or to write your program in C. Like we have here the Eclipse, Visual Studio, Android Studio, NetBeans, PyCharm, and Eclipse. So how to download the compiler editor or the IDE? Just go to Google and search for Turbo C++ for Windows 7, 8, and or 10 kind of Windows. So for example, here you have your, so go to google.com, just type Turbo C++ for or Turbo C for Windows 10. And after which you could actually press hit the download tab, or in this case the violet rectangle. Then the process goes easily. Then after which you could actually now enjoy using the IDE. Excuse me, where is it? I need to go back to the IDE. Yes, there. So we will be most often using this environment coding our C program. So hey guys, so that will be our part 1 of the module 1. So see you in the part 2 of the module 1. Okay guys, thank you.